Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys, and just as quickly as it came, it went. The World Championship for 2019 is over, and for the third year in a row, Mark, it's a 3-0 sweep.
Unfortunate times. Unfortunate times again rolling through here. EU can't get it done. No Grand Slam here for G2. It is the clean 3-0 victory as FPX rises to the top once again here to claim the title for World Champions.
And for poor Caps, another year of getting 3-0 swept by China in the finals. Now 0-6, but I mean, still pretty good to be back-to-back finals.
I don't know how much of that 0-6 I really want to put on him, but at least maybe 3 of those losses. Yeah, you can
that's quite a bit. That's almost half the losses. So now he has the honor of sharing that with Uzi, being back-to-back runner-ups.
That's not exactly what you want to be sure.
It's better than not making it out of groups.
Yeah, hey, that's exactly to be fair. You'll take this one every time. Getting to the finals, sure, it's still an accomplishment, but absolutely, you got to believe now that Caps is getting that hunger, that desire that, hey, this is not the way that it should be ending here. Yes, it's fun to get to the finals, but we got to have fun after the finals.
And fun during the finals, apparently, even if you're losing, which is fine by me. But let's go through these games and see exactly what happened. Game 1, and pick bans were very interesting throughout this entire set. You heard LS talking about it a lot. Game 1, we finally saw Xayah and Kai'Sa banned. We thought this might happen, and G2 ends up taking that Varus Tahm Kench from FPX, and then you get the Pyke mid for Caps.
Yeah, the Pyke mid for Caps here. This is one of those interesting situations here where you're kind of saying to yourself, well, if Doin B is going to play a type of support here, I'll also play more of a support type of champion here.
Pyke matchup.
But the difference here, of course, is in the mindset of how someone like Caps wants to play compared to Doin B, and that's where you see the difference of Nautilus and then, of course, the Pyke. But it is early on in this one. It was all about FPX here, getting their fights back, and man, Tian, that was a nasty flash in to get that kick there.
And you can talk about maybe the Lee Sin pick being a reoccurring theme as he gets it in all 3 games. And this is the 2v4 with Wunder on the Rise with Caps on that Pyke. And what room does Rise have here?
Oh, that's a big time boo-boo there. That is a Rise with Comet. Comet.
Would that have changed things?
Wait a minute.
Low health.
I'm a little confused. That's supposed to be a phase rush there. I swear, I'm telling you, man, that has got to be a big time mistake. Because if you got phase rush there in that type of zone there right by the Baron, I guarantee you Wonder's Rise is cleaning up that fight, picking up the rest of the damage here. But it is the story of FPX getting their fights there. Talk about how clutch Chris was in that fight there. The Dead Thresh had
the
already
double death sentence.
Had the hook landed in the perks there, and that's what kept him stunned up. So Lee Sin Tian could get in there, get the kickoff, and end the ADC's life. And man, ending the series is what FPX wanted to do.
And yeah, we know in hindsight it was a 3-0 clean sweep for FPX, but after game 1, even though there was a pretty big gold lead for FPX, you heard Papa Smithy and the rest of the cast even saying, even with this lead, you saw that push in the bottom lane. G2 was pretty close to stealing this game back, and that super aggressive push, even when they were behind, that's what we've seen out of G2 all year. And you thought, okay, that's still G2, even though they lost, you have confidence in them.
Yeah, they still showed that style where, hey, we're willing to concede some of these major objectives that other teams will not be willing to give up here because we have a plan here. We have that mindset, that aggression, that, hey, if we're going to be trading away something this valuable and we know you're going to get something in return, we're going to make sure that we at least try to get something elsewhere on the map. And we saw that in game 1, really pushing FPX to the limits here. And this was a really strong test in that game 1. I think this matchup, certainly in this one, could have gone a couple of either ways here. Certain other times, maybe leading to a G2 victory in game 1, but it isn't the case. FPX up 1-0.
Yeah, and they were really close to winning that fight around the inhib. You mentioned that hook from Crisp, and then the 2-man Lee Sin kick from Tien to kind of save the game. We go into game 2, and again, it is another Lee Sin for Tien, and they get the Yasuo Gragas combo for G2, which they have annihilated people on all year. LWX gets his Kai'Sa pick, and you get the Tristana versus Ryze matchup in the mid lane.
Tristana in the mid lane, and of course, is that Kled there that we know, hey, that is that Doin B Kled, but nope, it's not going to Doin B.
That Gimgoon Kled.
Going up there to that top side there to handle the Akali and Wunder, and it didn't matter really what was going on in that top side because there was just so many advantages going towards the side of FPX, especially this bottom lane and LWX getting fed on that Kai'Sa, that it didn't matter what the composition was on G2's side. way too much power here from FPX.
And this is when you really started just seeing that Fun Plus was 1 to 2 steps ahead of G2, rotating around the map. Wherever they were, they always had that first step, whether it was Tien and Crisp or all 5 members roaming around, which, by the way, happened pretty darn frequently. They ended up getting the fastest Baron that we've seen at the entire World Championship, basically right when it spawned, and they didn't even have a Mountain Drake to do it.
Yeah, it didn't matter whatsoever here for FPX in this one. They had full control pretty much after the 15-minute mark in this one. There's no way that G2 is going to be finding their way back into this one here. And even in this fight here, where you're seeing, oh yeah, G2, they're managing to take their time, they're managing to stay through, and then all of a sudden, bam, FPX turns his on, and LWX says, thank you very much, I'm going to collect my gold here, and I'm going to get ready for game number 3.
Yeah, when all of a sudden you see the queue get pressed, and 3 members of G2 basically die instantly. And you saw G2. They were kind of chuckling after that game, and some people might get upset by that. You're down 2-0 in the World Finals. Why are you laughing? That's G2, man. It doesn't matter if they're up 2-0 or down 0-2. Even we've seen them lose games. They were behind at Fnatic. They were still laughing, and that's just the overall team atmosphere. That's why they were the best team for the majority of 2019.
The same reactions that we saw in spring. It's the same that we saw at MSI, and the same at all the way through summer. This is the G2 esports squad. This is the players and the personalities that they have here. They are going to be relatively light, even in a dire situation like this. And yes, I know some players, some fans would like you to be a little bit more serious here. That's just not who G2 are. That is not their identity here. And I tell you what, I'm here for that type of positivity, that type of thing. You're playing a video game. You're having fun here. Yes, it does mean things. Yes, it's all serious, but let's get right into it because it is going to be game 3, and you got to bounce back.
And when you see them laughing, I either think, oh boy, here comes that reverse sweep. They're fired up now. These guys can't be tilted, or they're finally destroyed and they're going to get wrecked in game 3. It, of course, ended up being the latter as we shift into that final pick ban. And I just really wanted 5 games, or at least 4. The script is broken by Riot, but we get the Vigar in the mid lane for Caps. And for the 3rd game in a row, they deny Perks a Xayah or Kai'Sa pick, which I think was huge in this series.
It was a big-time job here on the ban side to make sure that Perks did not have that type of comfort, that type of power right now.
Undefeated on both those picks.
Exactly, that we have seen so far throughout this World Championship. And again, on the side of FPX, it's Doin B playing another type of supportive style of mid laner here for the squad, but it's going to be FPX finding their advantages and making sure that their boy Doin B gets out of there alive with that lantern hook.
And you saw that was the latest first blood. It was 14 minutes, which is crazy out of these 2 teams, but FPX already had a 2.5K gold lead at that point. They just 4-man goon squatted bottom turret to get first turret of the game, and then Perks was behind basically 20-30 CS the majority of the game. Here's the game-changing play. Tien, Mission Impossible. Nobody knew he was there on G2. He waited there for almost a minute. It ends up being a kill over onto Caps, and then the ensuing team fight cleans up for them. Tien would eventually get MVP honors for 3 Lee Sin games in a row. And if you're G2, you gotta feel like ban the Lee Sin at least in game 3. Make him do something
He didn't even land the kick here on the Lee Sin. There still manages to kick over Caps here to Doin B, gets the dunk, and it doesn't matter because it's the rest of the FPX squad cleaning it up, saying, hey, we'd love to collect our World Championship trophy. First, we need to take down the little purple worm here, get our little buff here, and then we'll get ready here to get our championship trophy.
It doesn't matter if it's your World Championship game on the line. You still got to pad the KDAs a little bit. It's all about the stats afterwards, Mark.
Hey, we've seen it already throughout the group stage. FPX need as many stats as they can get here. Make the stats look even more impressive, because I tell you what, if you were watching in the group stage, this is not how you thought it would end for FPX this year. But this is the FPX. This is the championship squad, your 2019 world champion, Fun Plus Phoenix.
1 game away from not even getting out of groups. They needed a tiebreaker against Splice. They needed a win against J-Team to survive.
J-Team and Splice got more wins against FPX than G2.
Yeah.
Feels great.
That's pretty bad, and maybe J-Team was secretly the 3rd best team at the entire tournament. Who knows?
We had it all wrong. We had it all wrong.
It's just like 100 Thieves last year with IG and Fnatic in their group.
I don't know about that.
The exact same. But LWX didn't get Finals MVP. He didn't die across 3 games. First time that has ever happened. Shoutouts to Gimgoon. He didn't die except for the very last fight of Game 3.
And you got if LWX is getting through with no kills, I mean no deaths, that is a huge reason in the way that FPX is getting through. We saw it again through the group stage, dying way too many times. Buddy was going in, ulting into the Akali.
And Mickey were destroying people in the bottom lane.
Exactly, and we saw that reversed here in this one. And especially here as we talk about G2 and what we'd wanted from them, I think Mickey's performance definitely leaves you wanting a lot more in that bottom side specifically. I know he is someone that's capable of better performances and helping Perks deliver the type of performance that you need on G2 more. Just didn't happen this day.
And still the Grand Slam eludes anyone in the competitive scene. But let's not all of a sudden rewrite history and say that G2's 2019, they choked the whole season away. This was still the most dominant team overall throughout the entire year. They just had one bad day on the Rift, and of course, you know, it was the most important day of the year, but it's just one bad day.
FPX are your world champions, but if you're going for who's the best team of the year for me, I think it's got to be G2 as the entirety.
So big ups to G2 for the year. And Fun Plus, doing B, it sounds like this might be his kind of ride off into the sunset. What better way to do it than winning a world championship?